Hi, I'm Jessica Lahr, and welcome to another edition of FLX Weekly here at FingerLakes1.com on Wednesday, September 21st, 2016. I'm joined here in the studio with FingerLakes1.com President Jim Sinacropi, Lead News Editor Josh Durso, and Network Administrator Jessamy Uticone. Welcome back to the studio, gentlemen.
Wednesday afternoon, this is what we do now.
Yep. It is. We're here. We're here every day, every Wednesday, 12:30.
We are not here every day.
Not every day. In the next half hour, we will be talking about this week's top local news, your best bet weekend events here in the Finger Lakes, the weekend weather outlook, sports lineup, and more, including our top local photos from the past week. Thursday is the first day of autumn, fall.
Which do you prefer, fall or autumn?
Fall.
Which do you go with fall?
I go with fall.
I say autumn when I'm trying to sound fancy.
Fancy pants.
Yeah.
When I say it, it's fall. When I write it, it's autumn.
That's what it is.
Oh.
So there's no confusion.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, that's true.
That's a very precise methodology.
Yes.
Those are things I think about. But yeah, it doesn't feel like it. But if you
It's
talk
going
to
to.
almost anything, one of the most common things that will be spoken over the next week or two around the Finger Lakes will be, fall is my favorite season.
Yeah.
Fall is my favorite season. Everybody says that.
Yep. Yep.
And
It is.
it's up there.
Yep.
It's up there.
It's definitely top four.
mine.
Top three
Yeah.
for me.
I would say top four.
I think
Because
it's
what's
everyone's
not to
top
love
three.
about spring?
Why?
You know what's coming at that point.
Right. It's sometimes spring is wet and muddy though. Fall is usually comfortable, whether you got to throw on a jacket or you don't.
Sweatshirt.
But it's what's coming in fall that makes fall less enticing.
Right.
Yes,
But
that's true.
If you like Christmas, that's not a bad thing. Fall
It
ends
feels
and
like
then it's a
fall
Christmas
after
season.
Christmas.
time.
Yeah.
Right now.
We're
Every night feels like
those
fall.
cool
Yeah.
50s.
Yeah,
And every
it
day
does.
feels like miserable.
I
Humid
wouldn't say
summer.
miserable.
Well, it's my life, Jessica.
Oh, jeez. Well, let's get started by kicking it over to Josh for the top news this week at
Okay, so-
FingerLakes1.com.
Who heard about an exploding house yesterday? We did.
I did.
Here at Finger Lakes 1. A mobile home exploded in Waterloo on Tuesday. The explosion happened on Waterloo-Geneva Road around 8:30 a.m. shortly after the owner had left for work. No one was home at the time, but two pets are unaccounted for from the blast and subsequent fire. No official cause of the fire, but officials are leaning toward propane tank because there was a smell of propane in the area leading up to, or that's what they believe.
Interesting.
You know, but nothing official yet. Stay tuned to Finger Lakes 1. We'll have that as soon as it becomes official. Two homes were deemed a total loss in the fire and explosion, and the Red Cross is helping the displaced individuals.
That's sad.
So it affected another home as well?
Yeah, the fire from the blast burned out the second home.
I see.
What would cause a house to explode?
It would appear as though the propane, because each individual home apparently has a propane tank,
Right.
and the propane tank was leaking, and basically what happens is the pressure goes batty, and kaboom.
My initial thought was meth lab.
Right.
That would also be a cause of an
We
explosion.
didn't want to cast
Wouldn't be
any
the first,
aspersions,
that's
though.
for sure.
At this point, though, they seem to be leaning towards propane tank and not meth
Propane
lab.
leak, and then one of those
that's good.
unaccounted for pets smoking a cigarette. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
It was a cat and a dog.
Exactly.
All breeds
Living
of
together,
animal.
that's a problem.
In
Everybody
harmony.
knows sparks are going to fly
Aw.
if that's the case.
Another big news story from this week. 4 minors were arrested on felony charges after a sexting ring was exposed on Facebook and busted by the Penn Police Department. A weeks-long investigation came to a close on Monday after the Penn Police Department reported the arrest of
Like
4
coal
minors.
miners?
Minors.
Oh, young
Children.
People.
young humans.
Children.
Okay.
It was grizzled coal mine.
An 11-year-old, 13-year-old, 16-year-old, and 17-year-old. The 16 and 17-year-old are going to be charged as adults.
You said 11. 11 years old.
11, 13, 16, and 17. And all were charged with disseminating indecent material to a minor, which is a Class E felony. Moral of the story, that also said that multiple nude photos were exchanged between all 4 of the kids. And
Right. That's why they're all charged with that.
correct.
Because they're all minors, and they're all sending, it's a ring.
Yes,
That's how
it is
rings work.
Right. Now, my question is, I'm sitting down in front of 3 parents, and
Yeah.
I would really like to know what you guys think about this, because I am not a parent. So I just look at this as 3, 4 not so top of the line bright children making a really poor decision in the moment, and now unfortunately at least 2 of them are going to be dealing with the consequences for a
Right.
very long time.
It's horrifying.
I have an
can't even
11-year-old
imagine.
daughter, and she's not involved in any activity like this, as far as I can tell. I monitor her online usage, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think at 11 years old. I
Is
mean,
that crucial?
Right,
Is
that's
the
weird.
monitoring crucial?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because everything is at your fingertips now, So, unfortunately, that can be a plus and a minus.
It's all only a click away.
you need
Yeah.
to absolutely need to monitor your children's usage online. It's easy. There's things like browsing history and watch history on YouTube, and
I guess the thing that sort of caught me by surprise was the fact that it was Facebook Messenger and not
Right.
Snapchat.
They used Facebook
fir-
Messenger to do this.
Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
I really would have thought Snapchat, because Snapchat seems to be
they would have
the-
never got caught if they did that.
the
Right.
new.
They'd be sexting each other right now.
Right.
Oh,
That ring would still be intact.
it would still be going.
Uh-huh.
I can't even imagine.
And then the fact that a 16 or 17-year-old can be charged as an adult in something like this is kind of strange. But I'm telling you what, I was 16 once, and I knew that I had no interest in 11-year-old girls.
No.
Yeah, it was
No.
actually the 17-year-old was a female, the 16-year-old was a male, and then the 11-year-old was a female, and the 13-year-old was a male.
Jeez.
It's all over the board. I'm sure they said the investigation was still ongoing to some degree, so I'm sure there might be more charges or more information at some point.
How did they
that-
find out about this? Because I'm sure this is happening
They
more
were
than we even know.
They were alerted via a complaint. I'm assuming they didn't say this, but I would assume from a parent or a concerned family member. Search warrant was executed. They pulled several hard drives and a computer from the 13-year-old's home, and that was where it all that got the ball rolling down the hill.
Wow.
Well, they're all too young to have this be a permanent mark on their permanent record or disrupt their ability
Mhm.
to have success later in life, I think. So that's disconcerting that it's a felony.
Right.
But
My question: what is the age requirement to have a Facebook account? Is it 13?
I don't know.
I thought it was
It
13,
was-
but with a parent's consent, I don't know.
or with if you enter a different birthday
Yeah.
in the date field when you
Right.
register, it's not like they're
Right.
checking your driver's license or, in that case,
Right.
birth certificate.
Right.
So
All right, so in some other, not really any more exciting news, but student loan debt has doubled in New York State in the last decade. It's doubled.
10
New York
years.
State residents owe a combined $82 billion in student loan debt. That total has more than doubled in the last 10 years. New York now has 2.8 million borrowers who each owe an average of $32,200. The latest figures from the New York Comptroller's office shows that the number of borrowers, amount of debt accrued, and the time spent paying that debt off is all rising, and rising at a rather worrisome clip. If I
so
do personally
extrapolate
say so.
that. Did they give a national number?
They didn't
total?
give. No, they didn't give any national
$82
numbers.
billion dollars
Just
New York.
In New York State.
Yeah, that's
Which-
horrifying.
You think about that. That is a
It's
lot of
discouraging.
money. And as we were talking about before we came on, that is a lot of money that could have been invested in education a long time ago
Mhm.
had it not been just thrown at people who ultimately aren't going to be able to pay it back.
Right.
Right. Well, and these are people who are going to school, coming out of school with all this debt,
Right.
and can't find a job in the field that they went to
Right.
school
For
for,
many of
and now
them,
they're struggling
It's a
to pay their loans, and it's a vicious cycle.
yeah, it's a task that they're never gonna.
And it was, I believe, just a couple days ago, the most recent jobs report came out, and it continues to show that the workforce is shrinking,
Right.
not growing.
Mhm.
Unemployment is dropping, but the workforce is also shrinking dramatically, and that's that's problematic.
the whole higher
Yeah.
education model's broken. Universities and colleges seem to be immune to the bubble. the banks or the mortgages, and so their budgets just keep growing.
Yep.
But it's unsustainable, and college education becomes a value proposition at some point. But it's something that certainly needs to be fixed. Honestly, why should there be any interest on any student loans? Why should there be any interest? Why should you go to a bank? Why isn't there a federal program for interest-free student loans? Because that's where the loans become untenable, and you have the high interest.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the U.S. government has over $1 trillion in unsecured student loan debt out on students right now. It's the largest investment that the country has that's basically just standing up against our debt as a whole.
But that they're receiving payments on that. I don't know how much of that $1 trillion is bad debt.
Well, I think piggybacking off of what you're saying, it seems like the concern is that eventually it could all become bad debt if the situation continues to worsen and worsen and worsen. Yeah, it's not a good situation.
No,
it's rough to be a college student.
I know.
It's rough to be a young adult.
Right. Wow.
I win again.
Hopefully changes will be made.
Everything's good for me.
Eventually.
Hey, how about the weather? It's pretty sweet, huh?
Well, late
This week?
September, is usually time for some of the best weather of the year. It was summer-like this week, but the weekend looks to feel more autumn-like. Friday will start the cool down with highs in the mid-70s under partly sunny skies and just a 30% chance of a morning shower. Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high in just the mid-60s. Sunday will be more of the same with plenty of sun and a high around 65. Overnight lows on both Saturday and Sunday are expected to dip into the upper 40s, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, upper 40s at night. Great sleeping.
Yeah.
And honestly, give me
Cozy.
mid-60s all year long. Mid-60s is perfect. You can wear pants if you want, or you can wear shorts with a light sweatshirt. It's perfect, and you can venture out around the Finger Lakes at your leisure. I love that forecast.
I do too. I'm looking forward to it. It feels like fall. I love fall. So, as always, check out the latest local forecast and live radar at the local weather center at fingerlakes1.com. So a perfect, brilliant, crisp outlook for the first weekend of autumn. Perfect to get out and about in the Finger Lakes. Just me, what is there to do?
One of the most famous festivals. I mean, we're talking one of the most famous festivals in all of the Finger Lakes is happening Saturday and Sunday in southwestern Ontario County. You know what it is. It's the Naples Grape Festival. It's happening this weekend. Since 1961, this has been going on. The Grape Festival is held every September in the Naples Valley to celebrate the area's grape harvest. Tons of grapes being harvested right now. Literally tons of grapes. Talented artisans, winemakers, local and regional music and cuisine. The event is held at the Naples High School grounds and across the street at Memorial Town Hall from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday. Check out the world's greatest grape pie contest, my favorite, and sample everything grape that Naples has to offer. More info is available online at naplesgrapefest.org.
Grape pie is your favorite pie?
It's my favorite pie.
I like a good grape pie. I don't know if it's my favorite. It's very sweet usually.
I'm not a huge fan of grape pie at all, actually.
That's fine.
And I love grapes.
I like grape pie a couple times a year, but give me apple or cherry any day, or banana cream.
I don't consume that much pie, so when I'm going to eat pie, I'm like, give me some grape pie.
The pie season's starting now.
I love fall.
You don't get a lot of pie in the summer.
That's true. That's true.
If you're not into grapes, you can go to the Montezuma Audubon Center and Savannah Chamber of Commerce. They're hosting their second annual Savannah Art Festival, also on Saturday and Sunday. The hours of that are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. At the Montezuma Audubon Center on Route 89 in Savannah. Very cool place to be. I go there. There will be art and craft exhibits, for sale and show, local vendors, art workshops, a drum circle will be present, if you want to get in on that, children's games and activities, art contests and prizes for all ages, great food, live music, and a 1-mile color run.
Okay.
fun.
More info on that is available at facebook.com/SavannahNY Chamber.
I dig it.
Fun.
Sounds like a fun event.
Yeah.
I go to the Grape Fest.
If you think that's a fun event, you won't believe. You won't believe what's up next. Enjoy 2 full days full of machine knitting. Inspiration with patterns, books, yarn, and machine supplies from demonstrators and vendors on Saturday at the Ramada Cortland for their 10th annual Finger Lakes Machine Knitting Seminar. Can you believe that?
That's
Hey, I'd
exciting.
like to learn to knit.
Well, you would?
I
Would you like
would.
to meet Sandy Cherry, Deb Oswald, Laura Kinnan, Marcia Hauser, and representatives from the Briar Patch Knits and Embroidery?
Look, if you're talking
I
about
would.
machine knitting, that is a heavyweight lineup of
Oh.
superstars in the machine knitting world,
I
I'm
mean-
assuming.
You had
Yeah.
me at Sandy Cherry, but throw in Deb Oswald and forget about it.
Marcia Hauser's going to be there.
If you are going, you should register at www.fingerlakesknitting.com
Huh.
because
What's the difference between machine knitting and regular knitting?
I think you use a sewing machine to machine knit.
Okay.
I assume it's the machine, Josh.
I want to
Regular-
learn how
Right.
to
In
hand
practice, though.
knit.
You never had a grandparent that knitted that showed you?
No.
Knit one,
No.
purl two?
On
don't
Netflix
think
now, Slow TV, which is a really interesting network, they have a whole national knitting night from like Sweden, I think it is. And it's like they did this live PBS thing where they just knitted all night, and it's on there. You can watch it. They also have a 7-hour train ride from like Oslo to somewhere else.
Wow.
You want to
Wow.
watch that? You just ride along in the train.
A knit-a-thon.
They're all on
A
Netflix
knit-a-
now.
Interesting. What's
Very
it called?
interesting.
National Knitting Night, Slow TV, National Knitting Night, I believe it's called.
Very interesting.
I watched it.
Fascinating.
It's very relaxing.
Very cool.
If you need more events, if that didn't say your event needs, then you can look on our community calendar on Finger Lakes One.
I recommend going to Naples for the Grape
Yeah.
Fest. It's the
Yeah.
best.
It
And
is
the
the
weather's
best.
perfect for a Grape Fest.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
going to be nice.
Definitely.
Well, what's the latest in sports, Jim?
Sports. Okay, let's take a look here. We have the 1-2 Syracuse football team travels to Connecticut to face the 2-1 Yukon Huskies at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. The Orange are currently 7-point underdogs, so I don't know what kind of world I live in that we're 7-point underdogs to Yukon. The game will be broadcast on CBS Sports Network, which is probably like channel 3 something on something, whatever your television provider is. Cornell will host Yale in their Ivy League opener at 3 o'clock on Saturday at Sholkoff Field in Ithaca. Cornell enters at 1-0 after their 24-16 to win at Bucknell last Saturday night. And, hey, that's another fun thing to do. If you want to go see a great Ivy League football game in the autumn,
Yeah.
you could head to Ithaca on Saturday.
Mhm.
And I guarantee you'll have a good time there. If you want to see another football game, you could check out the top 25 ranked Hobart Statesmen, who look to continue their hot start to the season when they host Union at Boswell Field in Geneva at noon on Saturday. Hobart's 3-0 with wins over Brockport, Endicott, and rival Ithaca. Speaking of Ithaca, the Bombers will be at Alfred University in Empire 8 action on Saturday at 1. And then the 0-2 Buffalo Bills will host the Arizona Cardinals at New Era Stadium, formerly Rich Stadium. That's New Era Stadium now in Buffalo on Sunday at 1 o'clock. The game will be on Fox. First game for the Bills after firing offensive coordinator Greg Roman last week. Local high school football schedule Friday night. Newark is at Wayne, who lost a heartbreaker to ER Gananda last weekend in a bit of a rivalry game there. Penn Yan travels to Mid-Lakes. Geneva battles crosstown rival Waterloo in Waterloo. ER Gananda is at Pelmac. South Seneca /Romulus/Trumansburg is at Minders. Victor is on the road to face Webster Schroeder. All those games kick off at 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, Lions is at Red Jacket for a 1 p.m. kick. Clyde Savannah travels all the way to southern Yates County to face Dundee. And they'll battle the Scots at 1 p.m. Canandaigua hosts Brighton at 2 p.m. And finally, former Gananda lacrosse coach Mike Payne passed away last week. He was the Blue Panthers' first and only lacrosse coach in their school history.
Wow.
That's
Oh.
wild.
And we got lots of sports at our sports page at fingerlakes1.com. And all those games I mentioned will have results and recaps and highlights and all that stuff on our sports page at FingerLakes1 or the free Android or iPhone app.
Yes. Well, let's jump into our top local photos.
Let's.
It is a great time of the year to take time to drive through Montezuma Wildlife Refuge. There are currently more variety of species at the refuge right now due to it being migration season. This goose was spotted on Tuesday by Janelle Hurst.
Look at that goose.
That goose is carefree.
Look at that loosestrife.
Purple loosestrife,
Yeah.
invasive species.
It is. Just like that goose.
Robert Stopper snapped this shot of the sailboat Newlyn, part of the annual fall southern boat migration on the Erie Canal, docks in Clyde as it journeys from Montana to the Bahamas.
Big Arm, Montana, according to its posterior there.
Yeah, think about how crazy that is. That boat started in Montana, probably made its way through the Great Lakes, and it's gonna go out to the Atlantic and down to the Bahamas. How long do you think a trip like that takes?
don't know.
2 months?
Wow. Yeah.
Probably
It's
months.
ambitious.
Yeah.
What a life! Although I couldn't do that. That boat's too small.
She looks like a sturdy vessel.
Yeah, it just I don't know. When they get down in the Bahamas, are they still living on the boat, or do they have I don't know, or
Maybe
do they
it's
have rent a cabana of some sort?
Sure.
Maybe it's a
Sounds
bucket
nice.
list. Sounds nice. If you end up in the Bahamas, it's got to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nothing but blue skies and white clouds over Route 14 north of Penn Yan, seen here on Sunday afternoon in this photo by Susan Eisenhart.
We've all been on Route 14 heading south to Penn Yan.
Sure.
Oh, yes. Beautiful. This sailboat was seen on the waters of Seneca Lake near Romulus on Sunday evening by Luann Lurch.
That to me looks like one of the last true summery pictures right there.
Oh, but
So
wait,
pretty.
there might be more.
Rob Schofel sent us this photo from the Vietnam Veterans of America's POW/MIA Watchfire at Myers Park in Lansing. Lansing.
Yeah, maybe if I type it.
On Cayuga Lake on Friday evening.
Typo. My
Whoa.
bad. My bad. Lansing,
Lansing.
Tompkins County, northern Tompkins County on Cayuga Lake.
Wow.
Our apologies to all the Lansing viewers out there.
Mm-hmm.
But a
I'm
big shout out to all
sorry.
the landing residents.
These cows seemed quite content with life in general as they graze in their scenic pasture in Romulus on Friday in this photo by Rachel Burkholder.
Uh-oh.
Another good one by Rachel.
Trees changing color in that picture.
Sure it is.
It's happening. Susan Eisenhart sent us this photo. This next photo is the annual grape harvest was underway at Fox Run Vineyards near Seneca Lake in Penn Yan on Monday.
Harvesting grapes.
Yay!
Right on
You know
the
what
shore
that
of Seneca
means,
Lake there.
wine.
Great pie.
Grape pie, wine.
And finally, from Walter Dyson, work begins at daybreak in this field at a farm just north of Geneva on Tuesday.
Like that photo.
That's nice. That's
So
great.
I
beautiful.
believe that's an irrigation rig. I think that's how they water their fields, or maybe
Yep.
how they spread
Pesticides.
pesticide or herbicide.
Both,
but-
perhaps.
You know, a lot of people work in offices or schools or whatnot, but man, it's something to be said about waking up in the morning and heading out, and that's how you start your day every
Sure.
day
Right.
as a farmer or some sort of landscaper, greenskeeper. But yeah, I wouldn't mind
Beautiful.
starting my day like that at least once or twice a week.
Well, especially when it's as gorgeous as that. I'm sure there are days where it's raining and cold and blistery, but that's beautiful.
But not lately.
Not lately. Well, be sure to send us your photos directly to contact@fingerlakes1.com to add to our local gallery and for a chance to see them on next week's show. FingerLakes1.com network highlights, Jim.
It's been a slow week or so around here. We didn't do the golf podcast this week. We didn't have an Inside the FLX last week, but on Weber this week on Monday morning, Rod Verke and John Capacci were in studio to talk about the 2016 inductees to the Minders Athletic Hall of Fame, one of which my wife,
Yeah.
being on the only Minders volleyball team to ever win sectionals. So,
Woo! That's awesome.
so
Hall of
she's going to be
Famer.
in the Hall of Fame.
You're a Hall of
Congrats
Fame
to
wife.
her. That's wonderful.
So that's
really
then
exciting.
actually, you know, if you have any interest in Minders history or are from Seneca Falls, Rod and John do a great job It's few laughs on that show. So that's posted. Kenny Haas was back in studio with his 10-minute rant on things. He's really upset with the state of the area football teams around here, whether it's Buffalo, Syracuse, or Waterloo, or Minders. He's not happy.
Uh-oh.
Call some people out about it.
It's not good.
31st Lap Podcast is live Thursday night at 7:15 with Chris Marquardt, recapping the area motorsports for the week. The Crash Course Podcast, the most popular show on our home network, is about Demolition Derby. It's actually got a national audience. They had a new episode that went up on Monday night. And Josh, what's up on Inside the FLX tomorrow? We're going at 10 a.m. on Thursday with Justin Hausner.
Yep, Justin Hausner of Fuzzy Guppies.
Yeah.
He will be in. We're going to talk about all sorts of random stuff. Mostly, we're going to try and get him a little political tomorrow. Some Fuzzy Guppy stuff, too, of course. But it'll be an interesting 30 minutes for sure.
Change of pace from we've had 54th District candidates up here every week for the past month.
Change of pace. Yeah, so. I think the viewers are going to like this one.
Okay, and then what else we got going on? We have we're putting our high school basketball schedule together for the webcast, so we're going to have that announced shortly, or at least we have it together shortly. I don't know when we'll announce it, but we're going to be back out at high school gyms and whatnot, webcasting with the whole FL1 sports team, which is another sign of fall or winter. So
winter. Well, I'm excited for fall.
Love fall.
Yeah, it really. It's tomorrow's the first day of fall. This weekend's the first full weekend of fall. We were made for fall up here in the Finger Lakes.
We sure were. So. I love it. I hate the winter follows, but it just puts me in the mood to make soups and stews and smell cinnamon and pumpkin and bake and turn my oven on. And
I made sauce for the first time this weekend.
Sounds so good.
And I usually will make sauce at least 3 times a month throughout the winter.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good times. And I don't mind the beginning of the winter. It's the end of winter. Give me winter right up to about January 10th, and then I'm done with it.
Totally.
So
I agree. 100%.
It's good to experience the change of seasons like we get to here. Probably unlike anywhere else in the world do we get the true 4 seasons up here in the Finger Lakes. I love it.
That's why we appreciate each one, right?
Yes.
I don't mind snow. I just wish it came on Christmas morning. Come on.
Keep our fingers crossed.
If we're going to get it, let's get it on Christmas. I want to wake up to a white Christmas.
Let's not think about Christmas yet. Let's enjoy some of this fall we're talking about before we go jumping into winter.
Yeah, we got Halloween. We got Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving. We got a lot of things to do over the next couple months around here.
All right. Well, if you're watching us on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to drop us a line, send us some email at contact@fingerlakes1.com. We'll be back live next Wednesday afternoon at 12:30 for another edition of FLX Weekly. Enjoy the rest of your week and the first weekend of autumn here in the Finger Lakes.